What's up, you guys? This is OffTopicGames with the top four, finals matchup for our weekly Saturday tournament on August 5th. So here on our left we have the Gear Chronicle player, and on the right we have the Narukami player. So first off, sorry for the late upload because I'm using someone else's computer to record the audio because I'd like to try and keep the the loudness to a minimum. But yeah, so getting straight into it, they both ride and swing and drive check nothing. Narukami player is going first, so they get first ride, calls a stride father to the left, searches for Vanquisher, swings 9k, goes no to pass, and then swings again for 1 damage. Sorry it's a bit glary, they're in the store. Swings rear guard. I can't see what the Gear Chronicle player rode. Really sorry about that, guys. It's pretty bad glare, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. So the Narukami player rides Vanquisher and has Chatura. Swings Vanquisher first, no guards. And then Chatura second. Takes it, which means he can draw and bind. I see TikTok in hand. So normally I'd say that it's not very good to no guard Chatura, but I guess he just had to there because TikTok's a pretty good card and I assume he just didn't want to do it. So strides into, I believe it's Warp Drive. Uses the on stride skill to time leap the call and time leap the Erwatar, which means he had it in his hand. I am the Gear Chronicle player, by the way, if it matters, but yeah. Uses the skill, puts a single card back, calls Malem, if that matters. Uses the skill to Soul Blast 1, flip a copy of Warp Drive, and spin back the time leap, and then spin back the starter. So time leaps into a 1, probably Lishma, and then grabs the grade 3 off of Chronojet's skill. Sorry guys, it's actually really glary on the left side. We can't help that though, just because they made us record in the store, or play in the store. So it was just a lot harder. It's also a lot noisier. But calls the History Maker and TikTok. Hits the draw trigger first, which is very unfortunate for the Gear player, which means he can't really be aggressive with the multi-attacks because of the damage trigger, and then he hit a draw trigger, which is also just generally unfortunate. So, calls the stand trigger. Thinking about what to do. I believe that History Maker swinging might be okay. Never mind. Okay, History Maker swings next. Time leaps the stand trigger into Malem. I think what the Gear Chronicle player wants to do here, because he didn't hit trigger, is just maintain some card advantage. Grab as much basic general cards as you can, and yeah. Yep. So after that, after the History Maker, Malem swings and grabs the draw trigger, the crit trigger, which is pretty good to draw a card. So what he's probably doing here is just trying to rack up some more cards. So probably no guards the Vanguard, but Vanguard swings for 37. Hits no triggers, 1 crit, which is pretty good. He puts the crit on the Vanguard, which is already a misplay because he doesn't see what's coming next. But basically, the Lishma will time leap into Delayed Blazer, and Delayed Blazer will time leap the grade 2 into a grade 3. So that's 2 attacks at the Chatura, which was easily deterred by a trigger on the Chatura. So yeah, it was definitely a misplay there. On the Vanquisher player side, granted it's possible that you just didn't know or didn't think about it, but still, it's kind of a misplay. So yeah, swings for nothing. So end phase, the Chronojet goes back, So in specific order, the Chronojet was supposed to go back to hand first, and the Time Leap cards were supposed to go to the bottom and then called out. It was kind of mixed, but that's how it's supposed to be. Gear Chronicle player being a bit lazy, and but that was the correct ordering because they both go off at the same time, so you get to choose basically which one goes first. So strides into voltage, flips voltage, calls. I believe he calls like a bunch of cards here. So he calls one Chain Bolt. I already see one more in his hand, which I believe he'll call. One more Chain Bolt. One Rock Climb, which uses the skill. Soul Blast 1, Counter Blast 1. Opponent chooses one to retire and bind, retires and binds History Maker. And then the 2 Chain Bolts go off, so 2 more get bound, and then he gives +2 to itself and another unit, I believe. Yep. So he then proceeds to call different cards. The 6K goes first, Soul Blast 1, Thunderstrike to draw. And then I believe the Chatura. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's the 21 lane because the Chain Bolt got double boosted, so guard for 15. Vanguard swings for pretty big. I assume that's a no guard. Oh, interesting. Swings for 18, 17 first. That should be an easy guard. Yep, 10k guard. And then Vanguard swings for a very big. And so he hits a heal, which is very unfortunate because he then has the playoff, which he can do multiple cool stuff with, as well as a draw trigger. So takes 1, Lishma dies, and then he chooses 2 to put to the bind zone. So the Gear Chronicle player is now at Thunderstrike 6. Granted, Gear Chronicle player can like add things back to his hand or call them from the bind zone through the Huanglong skill or the Gear Groovy skill that copies Huanglong. Just a note, guys. But yeah. Also a note that Chain Bolt can activate during the opponent's turn, so if he uses things like the unflipping G guard or the 25k guard, he can use that to his advantage. So I believe that History Maker and Malem gets called here. Malem swings for 11. So I definitely would like instant G guard this to get more power on the Vanguard so that the mini attacks don't hit. But I believe that the Narukami player decides not to, which I believe is wrong. I think he said before, or like after, that he wanted to keep the heal trigger for like next turn. But in this specific case, it's definitely wrong. Because the Vanguard gets really big and then it just like destroys the attacks of the mini rear guards. By the way, the card on the Vanguard should be next stage, which is debatably wrong. You can make a argument for Chronos Command because it wipes the entire board, which can be very detrimental to the Narukami player. Regardless, we'll see where next stage can take us. Sometimes just pushing is pretty nice, so next stage isn't the worst card to go into. Yeah, so just making the Gear Chronicle player is probably just reading the Chain Bolt just to make sure. But yeah, Narukami player has to guard the. He decides to take the next one, which is very interesting how he did it. He probably should have just taken the first one, guard the second, but whatever. So TikTok goes off, grabs the grade 2 Delayed Blazer, and then grabs the grade 3. So the Narukami player sees his misplay here, where he should have just used the G-Guard early to make the Vanguard get bigger, because, yeah. So Delayed Blazer swings for 11. Narukami player then proceeds to, it looks like he's planning on G-Guarding. Yep, proceeds to G-Guard. Because, you know, he should have done it a lot earlier, but whatever. Pops the Delayed Blazer to the bind zone, which means Malem cannot come back. And then the 2 Chain Bolts go off, giving the Vanguard +4. And then the Vanguard GB2, I believe, gives +3. So the Vanguard's pretty big. 18 by itself. Oh, just as a note, the Gear Chronicle player forgot to grab a grade 0 with Malem when he TikToked into it, but you technically don't have to, but I guess the Gear Chronicle player just forgot. But yeah. Anyways, Gear Chronicle player then swings for, I believe it's 16. No, it's not. It's 21 because Warp Drive was flipped and then the other one was flipped. So 21 to 18, 10k should be no pass. Or 2, huh. On the Vanguard doesn't hit, which is unfortunate. I believe that was no pass, but I'm not too sure. The grade 3 is a 10. So swings at Chatura, which he decides to 10k it. So end of turn time leap, the Malem gets back. And the History Maker gets called back, and then the Delayed Blazer goes, or the grade 3 goes back to the bottom of the deck. Strides again into Voltage because of how many rearguards he has, or rearguards on the, cards in the bind zone he has. Debatably, VMAX is pretty good here, but I definitely think Voltage is the right play because of just how immense the rearguards are. I believe that's something like 10 cards in the bind zone. The Gear Chronicle player hits a heal, which is great. That's crazy. Goes back to 4. PG's the Vanguard because Vanguard makes the rearguard bigger. Crit kills probably here, right? It depends on what his field is. But it's okay because he had a heal that he can take the next one if he wants. Which I believe he decides to as a Gear Chronicle player because they're at 4. And even though Chatur gets an extra card as well as the card in the drop zone, it's definitely not worth it. So Gear Chronicle player then decides to stride into Gear Groovy, which is basically just the next stage. He has a little bit of Counterblast, which he can use for Huanglong, but, you know, it's a good card. Good combo. So uses the on-stride skill to call a Malem. Pretty sure, because Malem just is right here. Time Leap says heal trigger, which is pretty unfortunate, but like there's not too much you can do about it. So yeah. Gear Chronicle player then calls a... It looks like a Stride Fodder. Uses Gear Groovy skill to flip Huanglong and then copy Huanglong's skill. With the amount of Counterblast he has, I don't think he's going to use Huanglong, but although he can, he probably won't just because of the amount of Counterblast that he has. I believe there's 2 left over, and that should be used for History Maker and next stage. So, debatably, it makes sense to like use Huanglong to grab the Lishma and then get Delayed Blazers. But I'm not too sure if there's even any Delayed Blazers in the deck, so whatever. But it's okay because you get the early attacks off now and stuff. So Gear Groovy swings for 31, I might add. That's kind of important. No guards. Hits a draw trigger. There's another draw trigger. And a PG. So Narukami player goes to 5, drops. Gear Chronicle player drops Delay Blazer in 2 draws. Flips a lot. So there's probably like a lot flipped. 2 Delayed Blazers, 2 next stages. Now 2 Gear Groovies, a 3rd next stage, and a Huanglong. So that's like 8. So the thing is pretty big. Hits a heal, which is pretty good as well. They misplay because they're only supposed to drive check 2. But they'll shuffle anyways, but it doesn't matter because the Narukami player takes it. And that's the end of game 1, guys. it was pretty scary apparently because the Gear Chronicle player looked like they were gonna die, but yeah. Narukami player is sad because there's 2 heals on the top. After taking the 6 damage, of course. But yeah, we're going on to game 2. What I would have liked to see from both players, in terms of things differently. Narukami player definitely misplayed in terms of like predicting what the Gear Chronicle player would do. So I would have definitely used the G guard earlier to get your plus power, so that you save a lot of cards. I think that's basically what lost you the game here. As the Gear Chronicle player, debatably, Chronos command would have been better to wipe the board, but next stage was not bad. As it in like after sight, it turboed you into the heals that you need to win the game. So we're going on to game 2. Yeah. Not too much here to say here. If you liked it so far, guys, you can please like and subscribe the video, or like and then subscribe to our channel if you want to see more. If you have any comments or anything, you can leave them down in the comment section. I'm just saying this now, but there's a game 2, trust me. And yeah, you can check out more like info about this series or the top 4 match in the description. You guys always should read the description, that'd be great. Your Chrono player goes first. Rides what I assume is a 6K. Narukami player debates about what they're doing. Calls things, he does. It looks like he is. Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. So normally, like, the Narukami player is known for, like, being very aggressive, but he isn't in this case, which is, I think, is very interesting. So the Gear Chronicle player, I believe, rides a 10K and then uses Calwum to put back the starter. I can check it when the glare lessens when they attack. 8 goes to the Vanguard. Gear Chronicle or Narukami player probably guards it with the 5K, the draw trigger. I don't know, guys. That was very interesting. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, he takes it. Okay. And then no guards the second one. Do I see? Oh, yeah. Uses the skill to pop and bind the Calibum. Uses the grade 1 skill to grab Voltage or Vanquisher. Yeah, so the card that the Gear Chronicle player is currently on is the 10K vanilla. And Calibum is bound, yes. So it makes sense why like he put a 7K there to hit 16. Because if it just swung and boosted, it wouldn't hit. So swings. So Gear Chronicle player then decides not to ride and swings. I think it makes sense because like he gets a breeze, but he can't do anything off this breeze. And then the Gear Chronicle player hits a crit and decides to pull in the Vanguard. So now that Vanquisher player now has the option to Breeze and has 1 extra counterblast laying around. I definitely think that you still put the crit on the Vanguard and like not be so scared because you push Narukami player to 4 and that's what really matters. But there is an argument against it where you like put the crit on the back, or like reride grade 2, or just don't play the grade 2 game and just ride Vanguard. But definitely like if you're in this situation, you put the crit on the Vanguard because Narukami player goes to 4 early and your Gear Chronicle, so like there's less chance for him to hit a damage trigger and you just kind of like push a lot. So Narukami player has decent plays. Swings first, hits no triggers, which is unfortunate. Hits a stand trigger, uses the voltage to pop and bind, and then guards 5K's 5K card. So Gear Chronicle player is at 3 damage, probably rides Chronojet G, and strides into Warp Drive, probably. But he's thinking about it, which is very interesting. Oh, I know why. Okay, so from what I can see, he has the OG Chronojet and no and an EMI, and there's no Chronojet G. So, but it looks like he's gonna ride the Chronojet and Stride to try and push for game. The reason why it's unfortunate, I believe, is because it's kind of hard to like set up a board if you don't have the Chronojet G. But luckily, you have the warp drive. So on Stride skill, put back the voltage. Uses the on Stride skill or the warp drive skill to time leap the hard thump into Malem. Puts the grade 1 back to the bottom through warp drive skill. So depending on the setup, Narukami player, it looks like he's at a pretty big disadvantage just because of the general like understanding of gears and what they can do. However, it does not look like the this is interesting. So Gear Chronicle player called, if you didn't see, a delayed blazer to the left behind the Malem and a EMI to the front, which becomes a grade 1. So what he's doing here is he's using the Malem to grab TikTok. And then he's using EMI, which is a grade 1. He swings 14. And then he'll get delayed blazer to time leap the delayed blazer into the grade 3, which is very funny. I definitely remember doing this. I don't know if the Narukami players like expected it or not, but it's definitely pretty funny. I kind of just wanted to like push out cards in this hand. My hand wasn't optimal. So yeah. Uses the EV, grabs the delayed blazer, times delayed blazer into grade 3, which is very, very interesting. I definitely liked it. It's definitely like a play that you should see coming because it's so obvious. Like, why would you call the delayed blazer there? But yeah. So swings with Amy, guards 5. Delayed blazer swings. He PGs. Gear Chronicle player then sneak hits a multitude of triggers, as we can see here. So crit, then stand, and then a heal. Why not? Boost the side, so it's 16 and 21. He swings 16 first. That's definitely wrong. You're supposed to swing with the 21 with crit first, but whatever. He takes it, and that's it. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you all later.